Goodwill thrift shop workers, what are some of the strangest things you've found in the donations? A high school diploma still in its leather case. We were selling it for $1.39. Also a porn movie inside a Clifford the Big Red Dog DVD case. I really want to make a big red dong joke, but I'm not sure of the best way to phrase it. Clifford the Big Red Dong destroys little blonde chihuahua, name of the porno I just watched last night. I found a ton of weird stuff. The old ladies I worked with called stuffed animals stuffies, and I always thought it was strange. Well, one day we get a big box, 2x2, labeled stuffies. They opened it up and it was full of dildos, butt plugs, handcuffs. All kind of sex toys. I've never heard so much hootin' and hollerin' in my life. Sounded like a pack of coyotes. Edit. I also found a VHS tape of Lost in Space when I was talking to a coworker. Pulled out the tape and $70 cash fell out. Maybe someone forgot about their hiding place. I didn't know they literally meant stuffies. I'm going to start calling sex toys butt stuffies. Used journals highlights include someone recounting the time they bit someone, and a tale of an explosive funeral. They make for a good read, but why wouldn't you throw them out? My coworker found a 12-year-old's journal. It was a goldmine of middle school drama. Also had a lot of stories about Jacob from Twilight and wishing she was a werewolf. We read through the whole book and cried laughing. I think years from now that same girl will wonder where that journal is and desperately wish she had it again. Was doing community service at a Goodwill. A Vietnamese guy pulls up, drops off a couple trash bags and dips. We start looking through it all, and I find a full 90 CT bottle of 10 mg oxycodone pills. So how was the rest of your week? He doesn't remember. I'm not aware of memory loss being a side effect of opiates. Benzos like Xanax, however, I consider those time travel pills. A classmate of mine found a human skull that was donated. It still had remnants of human on it. They reported it to the police and turns out it was part of an active murder investigation one state over. I need more details. Unfortunately I don't have too many because it was just a side story in class, but apparently at another store across town, they found other parts of the body. He said they never found the killer, but they did find a lot of body parts at several Goodwill stores. I was 16 and in charge of going through donations, pricing them, and putting them out for sale. I came across something I didn't recognize, so I did what I always did and slapped 25 cents on it and put it out. A few hours later a lady brought it back to my boss in the donation room and told her we shouldn't be selling crack pipes. Oops. Damn, is that what people usually do? Who knows what I can find for 25 cents, maybe I should start checking out Goodwills. My aunt's a cop and had to go investigate a donated hand grenade. Edit. People keep asking if this happened in city, so apparently it's super common in America. For the record, keep it classy, San Diego. I got a call from my kid's summer camp once letting me know that he had a grenade with him at camp. It was a dummy training grenade, but it's as real as it gets, except that it has no charge or primer in it. I can't believe they didn't call the bomb squad. How did he get a training grenade? I got one online. Great desk item. Pull the pin and the spoon shoots off, fully spring assisted and everything. It's a bitch to put back together, though I suppose they're only meant to be used once. Not something I found particularly, but something very strange. Every month and a half or so, a man would come by right before we closed and would donate a single blank CD. Every single time. My coworkers and I would always put it in and see if anything was on it. There never was. Blank because he erased the evidence off of it and used your shop to get rid of the discs, so the data couldn't be recovered and he couldn't be found with the erased discs in his trash. I feel like it'd make more sense to dump it in just a random public trash rather than somewhere he'd be recognized by the staff, or just goddamn burn it. It's plastic. Dirty laundry. It happened so often that we had to wear gloves to go through clothing. Washed everything at least once to be safe. Who gets don't wearing their underwear and is like, I'll donate it and not wash it. Edit. To answer common questions. No, it wasn't Goodwill, it was small thrift shop in Chicagoland. In the back we had 7 washers and dryers. And a team constantly going through clothing. A lot was thrown out. Who donates underwear? You'd be surprised. It happened on a regular basis. Gross. Burn it all. Wife worked there as a teenager. Worst thing she found was a newborn baby who just passed. A woman high on drugs gave birth in the street, freaked out and dumped her baby there. Wife found the baby, called police, and the woman was arrested for neglect among other charges. Managed to dodge murder charges somehow. Unreal. I wouldn't be able to handle something like that. Your poor wife. That poor child. This is the most fucked up thing on the whole post-fuck that's traumatizing. I was sorting out some donated items and come across an unusual set of tools. Through some research, we discovered that it was a full transorbital lobotomy toolset. It got donated to a local university for display. Apparently, a vintage set in good condition can sell for around $1,000. Lamau who has a full transorbital lobotomy toolset just laying around. Moreover, who just donates something like that without any explanation of what it is? Pretty cool though, I guess probably deceased older relative who was a doctor. Lobotomies were done not all that long ago. I wonder if there are any successful lobotomies. Like, was anyone actually helped by having one? I was a stalker, not working directly with donations. But goddamn, so many people donate vibrators. All the way from top-of-the-line Hitachi magic ones to retro lil metal things that look like a Y emote. My ex worked at a value village and said the amount of people who donated shit blood coon covered clothes or items was unbelievable. Edit. She also developed the weirdest habit for grading all the pieces of my clothing. She'd feel my leg and then just go B+ and have me wondering what the fuck she's talking about. I've read here that ashes of cremated loved ones is a super common donation. Lots of people just think it's a vase at recently deceased Aunt Bertha's house, not realizing it actually contains the earthly remains of her husband Chuck. I imagine there are plenty of people who donate it fully knowing what it is. I worked there for a few years, one in Arizona and one in Ur. An urn with someone's cremated remains. Happened probably 3 times. Someone once tried to donate live roosters, a little ornate box with about 7 teeth, inside a crocheted jockstrap, with I guess what you'd call a cock warmer. So many unique dildos, a Ziploc baggie full of mice bones and fur tufts, some nerds like 50+ mall sword and dagger collection, a 80s cereal collection. Bill and Ted, Count Chocula, Ghostbusters, etc. Roughly 3 full hefty bags of Grateful Dead live shows on cassette, each labeled and track listed shoebox of prison letters to a girlfriend. Shit was unchi. Also a big shout out fuck you to the junkie shitlords who have dirty needles mixed in with the items they donate. We've had some nipple clamps on a chain, a rampant rabbit with car charger, a jug in the shape of a tit, and a book with a hole in it that you stick your dick in for a novelty puppet show. Oh, and there was also a mobile phone with a bunch of photos of a local policeman wearing his girlfriend's underwear. I securely deleted those. He owes me a get out of jail free card for that. You have to keep copies, so when he pulls you over you say I deleted these for you, and I'll delete these too if you say have a nice day, but I mean that is extortion, so you may go to jail as well. Holy shit. You're the cop I found pictures of wearing women's underwear. I work at GW and found a phone with them on there. I deleted them for you, don't worry. Your large package wrapped in lace is safe from the world. My manager said she came to the shop once, and there were bin bags waiting at the front of the store. It was obvious to her going through the bag that a guy had just tipped all of his ex-girlfriend's possessions into bin bags and had donated them to us. All of her possessions, vibrators included. When I was about 16 I worked at Goodwill for about 6 months. There was this old homeless man who used to try and sneak inside to sleep and stuff like that. Every day he'd get kicked out pretty quick by one of my female coworkers. After about a month of working there with her, the homeless man came up to the counter she was working at, gave her a Target bag filled with rocks, and left. We opened the bag and find a doll underneath about a layer of rocks. It was so friggin' creepy. The doll looked exactly like her. We flipped it over and the back had her full name sewn into it. She quit about a couple days later because she was worried about that homeless man coming back to the store. This is the start of a horror movie. This homeless man, obviously a vengeful spirit, has most likely haunted this woman into ruin and an early grave. Without a job, she probably became homeless, couldn't find anywhere to sleep, and froze to death. Textbook case. I didn't work at a thrift store, but one of my dad's friends did. One day a large instrument case came in. Inside of it was a Breedlove Black Magic acoustic bass guitar which, when the thing was released, retailed for over $1,000. We snagged the thing for a cool $300. Someone donated an entire trash bag full of dirty diapers. Sex toys. Lots of sex toys. Some older and more naive workers actually priced them and put them in the sales floor. An old electronic chessboard that was somehow worth $2,000 plus. Some rich old lady came in and donated a Ziploc bag full of gold and platinum jewelry. It was real. Huge Beanie Baby collections. Guess someone finally figured out after 20 years that they weren't a solid investment. It's something you hear about but I never really saw before. Maybe not the strangest, but you actually do find some cool old shit people think is worthless. Cool job for a while. Edit. Drinking some beers now. Ask a former Goodwill employee anything. I worked in donations. In the same day we got a pickled baby tiger shark and a coin purse made from a kangaroo scrotum. Edit. For everyone wondering how I knew, it still had the original tag on it. Me and my co-workers were guessing it was an unwanted gift someone felt bad about throwing away. It was not the same person that donated the shark. Who knew my most upvoted comment would be about kangaroo balls? I manage a thrift store in NorCal that supports a cat rescue organization. We get strange donations all the time, such as sex toys, from whips to ball gags to vibrators and more. More than a couple times a week. Ashes. I've got a bag here in my office that has some guy from Florida in it. I keep him around, he wards off ghosts and angry customers. Printed money. One time someone dropped off a backpack full of obviously copied money on big sheets of paper. Secret Service came out and got it and everything. We get disgusting stuff too. Here is a good one. https://i.imgur.com/5dc614f.jpg ? Once a middle-aged lady donated a bag of clothes from her son's room. This shirt was on top. It stank so bad I still dry heave thinking about it. It's hard to see on the picture, but those are yellow stains all over the shirt. We get lots of interesting old stuff. Victorian cat collar, a 1800s French tapestry, old Sears magazines, vintage records, 8-tracks etc. We recently got a set of dishes that commemorated a state university. Someone bought them for $900. Didn't even know such a thing existed before we got them. Someone donated an old Mac from the mid-90s that still worked. We fired it up and it had all sorts of personal stuff on it. We wiped it and sold it. Remember to wipe your drives, people. A few weeks ago we got a reproduction Hatafang LOTR sword. Pretty cool. I love working here, it's always something new and interesting. TLDR sex toys, disgusting stuff, old stuff, human remains. Finally a question I can answer. I once found a signed first edition of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Strange, and why would anyone give it away? Managed to buy it for 50p, and it's honestly my prized possession today. You do know that it's worth thousands, right? I know. I've had it valued a few times. The plan RN is to hold onto it until there's major hype around Harry Potter Rowling. Maybe if a remake if ever produced or something like that. Yep, or if she dies. It'll go up in value then. Very sad obviously, but $. I was a receiving and loading lead at a thrift store for a few years. We had this guy that cleaned out storage units for a living, and then he'd dump whatever he couldn't flip with us for a tax slip. He pulls up and we're going through it all. Pretty nice stuff, looked like it was an estate sale. We get it all unloaded, and then we start snooping through to see what needs to get brought to where, and we find this green glass vase filled with sand. I started pouring the sand out into the trash so we could figure if the vase was worth using. That's not sand. Somehow we ended up with an unmarked full urn. Well, you can now say the last person that got in your way ended up in the trash. Whole set of BDSM gear. An entire box of ball gags, 20 different types of shoes, stiletto-heeled leather boots. 4 full leather bodices corsets. A sex swing. 3 latex bodysuits. A bunch of crotchless underwear, a paddle and 2 whips. I just don't get why he donated it. What the hell is Goodwill gonna do with it? Also, who has an extensive collection of BDSM gear, and one day goes like I am over it, better clear out my garage. Also, all of it was poorly hidden under ragged Anaheim Ducks jerseys, never looking at Ducks fans the same way again. Another time someone donated an entire set of replica Hussar armor, which was easily worth several grand and in good condition. Edit. First one was also maybe my 3rd day on the job, and I didn't know how to ask my supervisor what I should do. Probably someone died, and their family was uncomfortable dealing with the BDSM stuff.